What else can you do with those shadows, Lieutenant Riorson? Amazing!
Oh, come on.
Screw her! Who's she? What did she do? Why is it always you? Who's Panchik? Who is Panchik?
I'm swooning here.
Also, who the hell is Stranger? Who's Killen? Who's Trista? Wow. How do you want me to take you, Violet?
Oh my god!
Pre-ordering the ONYX Storm would have been pointless since it wouldn't arrive until late February. So I had faith that I would find it in one of my local libraries on 21st. With sorrow in my heart, I'm telling you that faith wasn't enough. So I ended up getting the ebook. I'm not about to film a 20-minute video of me gasping over and over again, so I'm going to give a few spoilers, but most of them are not going to affect your future reading experience. So don't worry, I'm gonna warn you beforehand, so you can skip it and continue watching. Also, I'm going to give you a lot of quotes, so we can scream over Xaden together. But beforehand, if you need it, here is a quick refresher of how Iron Flame ended. Iron Flame was all about the rebellion and finding out how to raise permanent words to protect Eratia or Aimeetea from Venom. Andarna is a 7th breed of dragon which is needed to raise said words. In the end, Basgiath is attacked by Venom and the rebellion comes to their help. But Jack Barlow, who is now a Venom, destroys Basgiath's words. Violet is forced to raise the one and only word she can to protect Basgiath and everyone there, instead of doing it in Aimeetea, where she can no longer raise a word. Mommy Sorrengail dies, Sawyer gets his leg chewed up, and Xaden Shadow Daddy becomes a Venom to save Violet. And now finally, let's start ONYX Storm. I haven't even started the book and I already have something I want to show you. To the ones who don't run with the popular crowd, the ones who get caught reading under their desk, the ones who feel like they never get invited, included or represented. Get your letters, we have dragons to ride. Wow, that was just so beautiful and it really hit hard. A great start to the book. I'll also put up the pictures that are in this book, so you can stare at them as I always do. Right from the beginning, Violet thinks this. Xaden is mine, my heart, my soul, my everything. He channeled from the earth to save me, and I'll scour the world until I find a way to save him right back. I'm gonna continue. My god, do I love Andarna. I just love her snarky comments and how she makes fun of Tern. Your wings won't hold the weight of the ice, Andarna mocks him, and yet yours miraculously carry the burden of your ego. Go find a ship and let the adults work. I'm expecting this to happen throughout the entire book. I already love it. I am 2% in. Tern doesn't really let Xaden get close to him anymore, and he's calling him the Dark One, and it just breaks my heart. The Dark One didn't cut it in the first place, Tern responds. Stop calling him that. Stop denying the truth. His soul is no longer his own. That's a little dramatic. Nonetheless, it just breaks my heart to view Xaden as being called the Dark One. I'm understanding their dynamic and how Violet wants to give everything and anything to cure him, and Xaden is in such a weird situation and I just want to keep reading. I hate Aura Banehaven? I don't really remember who she was, but I think she's now a wing leader or something close to that, and I absolutely hate her. Violet hates her too. Rhiannon is asking Aura for any news on what's going on. She says, nothing I'd be willing to share with a bunch of deserters. Come on. Violet says, oh, screw her, in her mind. And yeah, screw her. Who's she? What did she do? I'm also a bit confused. I don't really remember any of the names. I mean, who's Cardulo? I am going to figure it out. They are worrying about Xaden, and when they are telling Violet said worries, she's telling them, I've decided you can all go f*** yourselves. I'm not running from him. Even in the moments he's lost control. He's never hurt me, he never will. I love them. I'm going back to reading. Also, who the hell is Stranger? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Gods, I love this man. Tell me something, Violence. A muscle in his square jaw ticks as he stares down at me. Why is it always you? Why? Why is it always Violet? Who's Panchik? Who is Panchik? Oh, and regarding the last quote, later on Violet says, "It's not always me." "It is," he replies just as quietly, punctuating the remark with a kiss. I just love when the MMCs are just so decisive. Short answers that show how decisive they are regarding their love interest. Xaden and Violet will forever be one of the best couples in romantasy. I mean, that's what I believe. I just love their dynamic, and he has such a tortured soul, even more so now because he's a villain. And Violet loves him so deeply, and they just love each other so much. And I absolutely love when couples, even though they don't trust each other fully, they are unbreakable. They trust each other fully, even though they don't trust each other fully. Do you get what I mean? Xaden lowers his chin to the top of my head. She knows I'm not whole. She senses it. This is regarding Sigil. I startle and pull back, lifting my hands to hold his face. "You're whole. I don't know what you paid to access that power, but it didn't change you." "It did," he counters. "Do you still love me?" I need to get close to you to tell you. Brace yourselves for this quote here. I'm taking my chair. I need to sit down. He cups the back of my neck and pulls me within inches of his face, close enough to kiss. I could reach the rank of Maven, lead armies of dark wielders against everyone we care for, and watch every vein in my body turn red as I channel all the power in the continent, and I would still love you. What I did doesn't change that. I'm not sure anything can. Oh my god. I mean, if it's not this, then I don't want it. And then he keeps on saying that she should be afraid of him. And Violet keeps saying that he doesn't scare her, that nothing about you scares me. I won't run, Xaden. I'm lost for words. I know that chapter 25, I think, is spicy from TikTok, and I think it's going to absolutely destroy me. Anyway, going back, I am at this point 5% in at chapter 3. We are changing to reading on the floor at my favorite place ever, under my piano. If you don't approve, I'm sorry for you. Sitting on the ground is the best thing ever. I'm going back to reading. Bye. Who's Lulan or what's Lulan? Everything is fine apart from the fact that I am quite confused with names. They're just thrown at me. Kai, Lulan, Trader, whatever. A short Xaden moment for you. I have every faith in your ability to protect yourself, but say the word and I'll rip the doors off their hinges. You're such a romantic. He is a romantic. It should be winter, but it is so hot in here. I'm literally boiling. I think I've highlighted so much already. Violet is definitely in her badass era. She is going to talk to dukes and duchesses and, you know, very important people. I mean, I am foaming at the mouth for her right now. "You are not in a place to make demands," the Duchess of Moraine admonishes. I don't know that word. "While we owe your mother a debt of gratitude, you are still considered a deserter. A deserter who saved the college, our words, and our kingdom, not to mention took on multiple venom within these walls a few hours ago. All of which I've done without falling under Navarian chain of command." I tilt my head. Makes it hard to assign me to anything, as none of you command the Aratian riot. She is just giving commands here and there, and I am all for it. I want her to have faith in herself and step up to how important she is and how unreplaceable she is, you know. I just want her to know her worth, and she's starting to know it, and I absolutely love it. Okay, so chapter 25 isn't the only spicy one. Oh my god. There's a lot going on, but there are certain parts that feel sometimes a little bit cringe, but I'm here for it anyway. "Mine," he growls against my skin, and his hand skims the hemline of my nightdress before dragging it up my thigh. "Mine," I encountered, tightening my grip in his hair. Now, it is... I mean, you know what? I like it. I love you so much it hurts. Good, because that's exactly how I love you too. That's one of my favorite sounds. Second only to those little gasps you make in the moments before you... I won't say it. "How do you want me to take you, Violet?" I'm not gonna tell you. Violet, he groans. He groans. I like it when he groans or he growls, or you know what? He can bite. He can do whatever he wants. You know what? If I have a soft spot for something, that is when a man calls his girlfriend, whatever, love interest in books, love. I just melt. In the Vampire Diaries, Klaus keeps calling Camilla and Caroline love, and I am dying for that. It's Xaden starts calling Violet love here. I am just melting. I don't have knees anymore. This is only chapter 3. Okay, so do you remember the throne scene from Iron Flame? Now we are kind of remembering that, and he says, and just so you know, that memory of yours was really hot. I loved every second of it. I loved every second of it as well. Who's killing? Who's Trista? It is very political intrigue heavy right now. We are deep into her plans. I don't really know what she's planning for, but nonetheless, it is very interesting. I'm just a bit confused. I kept on reading, and I am at chapter 12, and I've been reading for nearly 2 hours, I think. I can't tell you how much I just love Violet for this scene here. Annoying Aura is now just making a fool of herself, to be honest. She's challenging Dane because she can't stand the fact that the ones from the rebellion are here. She just hates everyone from the rebellion. She is screaming her heart out, telling everyone that she's going to beat up Dane. Anyway, that doesn't really matter at all. What matters here is that Violet is standing up for herself and for everyone in the rebellion. Rebel is so outdated. We prefer the term revolutionary. I inform Aura, taking a measured step in her direction and welcoming the crackle of sizzling power in my fingertips. And if you're going to wield, then it's me you'll be dealing with, because she was going to fight Dane, but with her signet. You see, Dane's too honorable to wield in a challenge, but you'll find that my sense of morality has learned to waver. We know that. I love you, Violet. I retrieve another dagger and shake it in her direction. You lift your hand against him again, and the next one goes through it. He's the reason you're alive, the reason you're all alive. The only reason you survived the attack is because we gained access to the knowledge Navarre purposely hid from us. We stole it, we translated it, we saved your ass. We just basically see her being the leader, even though she doesn't want to be one. Who is Ewan Faber? And after this happens, Kat says, I can see it sometimes, why he chose you. Nice speech, took you long enough to step in though. Yeah, so there are many more reasons why he chose Violet. Kat should just shut her mouth. She saying that doesn't really fit her character. And you know, in Iron Flame, when Violet realizes that Kat was also trained by Xaden, I just wanted to strangle Xaden so much and also strangle her as well. I was so furious with Kat at that point that I just can't see how I can agree that she's here with us. I don't like it. I don't like her at all. Now, we know from Iron Flame that Dane's dad is a piece of shit, right? Violet is now a badass, as I've been telling you. And when Ados tries to come for her, she knows what to say. Your threats are just threats. I'm no longer the scared first year, unsure if I'd survive threshing or be capable of wielding. One of my dragons is among the most powerful on the continent, and the other is the rarest. I didn't realize it last year or even a few months ago, but I do know. You can't afford to kill me. You can't afford to lose either of my dragons, let alone my signet. And you sure as Malek can't afford to lose Lieutenant Riorson's. Or should I call him the Duke of Tyrandor? Do your worst, but we both know I'm now beyond your reach, General. Tell me, wasn't that just amazing? Aren't we just all in love with Tern at this point? So Violet warns him about something in front of them, and she says, ahead. And then he says, yes, I too have eyes. We're 5 minutes out. I just love his sarcasm so much, and I love Andarna's comebacks when it comes to Tern. She's an adolescent and she has these remarks, and I just love so much their dynamic. Again, Tern, if you remove that belt, I will unseat you over the river and let your mere gods sort you out. It's everything I've wanted from their relationship. Just listen to this part. It's very short. What else can you do with those shadows, Lieutenant Riorson? I mean, What else can he do with his shadows? I've seen some girlies on TikTok saying that they like very much when Xaden says, well, the where, or whatever anyone else says something along that line. I personally don't like it at all. I feel like just inserting in the middle of a word doesn't sound very good. I'm just imagining they're not there, and it's fine. I'm gonna continue with chapter 12. My only issue with this is that I keep on pressing my finger on the right part of my iPad in the hopes that I can read 2 times speed. You know, TikTok just does that to you. Listen to this. Am I talking to the man I love or the Duke of Tyrandor? Both, Xaden replies. I don't want to be different people to you. Anyone else? Fine. Just not you. You're stuck with all of me. I'll use Tyrandor to protect you, not you to protect Tyrandor. Oh my god.
So my boy really knows how to write a letter. Xaden wrote Violet a letter and I'm swooning here. It is with deepest regret that I delay my return in favor of rest. Oh, come on. He can do that as well. I absolutely love him. Oh my god, oh my god.
I love when the MMC and the MFC fight or train together. I just absolutely love when the male love interest is stronger or knows more and just trains the girl. I am in love with this. I loved it in the Fourth Wing. I will forever love this trope or whatever it is. In the ONYX Storm, we are having it again. I'm not telling you how we got to this situation, but Xaden is training Violet. I can tell you how much I love it.
Come on, Violence. Live up to that nickname. I could have killed you a dozen times over by now because you're reluctant to strike.
Come on, Violet, just do it. Oh, and he calls her Violence again, which, to be honest, I didn't really like. I thought it was a tad bit cringe, or not really that bad, but I didn't like it. But it just warmed up to me. I ended up appreciating when he calls her Violence. I like it now. So seeing him calling her Violence here, you can feel his sorrow here. You can feel it, how much he loves her. Since he turned Venom, he is torn apart by it, and she loves him so much, and they just try to work it out together, and he just can't keep his hands to himself, but he does it anyway, and it's just eating him up and her as well, and I hate it and I love it at the same time. I am anxious for them. We all know that Violet's signet is wielding lightning. Obviously, if she strikes someone, she's going to kill them. Whilst training, she was against Garrick. She striked a lightning behind him whilst training, and he says, hate to tell you, Sorengale, but not only did you leave yourself exposed, you also missed, he grins. And she says, again, badass Violet, I'm here for it. I absolutely love her. Did I? I look pointedly to the smoking hilt of his melted blade behind him, and he follows my line of sight, visibly tensing when he spots the ruined dagger. If I wanted you dead, you'd be dead. Oh my god, and Xaden is there, and he talks with her through their mind connection. By Malik, I love you. I love her too. I love you too. I love both of you too. I'll make this as spoiler-free as possible. We all know that Violet had an ex at some point. She had a boyfriend before. I think we already knew that from Iron Flame or whatever. This said ex-boyfriend is very important and somewhat very powerful. Let's just leave it at that. He somehow ends up talking to Violet. I never told you I was sorry, and I should have. If you're not with Ryerson, said ex-boyfriend, lifts a hand towards the loosened strands of my braid, but never makes it. Shadow blasts straight through the words and hit, said ex-boyfriend, in the chest like a battering ram, sending whoever he is flying backwards straight into the rock wall. God, Xaden wouldn't just leave it like that, right? Let's get 3 things straight, ex-boyfriend. I have remarkable hearing thanks to the shadows at your very feet. Second, I don't control Violet. Never have, never will. But third, and most importantly, he lowers his voice, she really, honestly hasn't thought about you. At least not since the second she set eyes on me. If I find you in my bed, there's no resting. Trust me. Okay. Let me go back to reading. Okay. Listen up. We love jealous Xaden. I never loved Kat.
Sure, the idea of certain ex of Violet putting his hands on you makes me want to put him back into the wall, especially given the fact that he can touch you and I can't. Spoiler, I won't tell you why. But knowing he's been here, Xaden puts his hands just beneath my collarbone, has me considering murder, so there's no chance of him worming his ass, we're gonna keep it at that, back in. Because she told him that at some point she did love him. Not the same way she loves Xaden, but she did love him. And then she says, he can't touch me. This, and she points to her heart, will only ever be yours. You could leave me or even meet Malik, and it still would be. I've made my peace with knowing there's no getting over you. That's so beautiful. Next, I'm not for excessive jealousy, okay? But I do like a possessive man. And I do like a bit of jealous here and there, which is why I'm going to read a really nice show of jealousy. Yes, love. He called her love again. I'm jealous. I'm jealous of the armor that holds you when I can't, the sheets on your bed that caress your skin every night, and the blades that feel your hands. So when the said ex-boyfriend walks into place I can't tell you about and starts talking to the woman I love with what can only be considered intense familiarity, and then has the audacity to ask her out right in front of me, naturally, I'm going to get jealous. Okay, that is a man. That is a man. I can't say anything else. That is a man. Now, do you remember Violet asking Xaden what else he can do with his shadows? No, because I certainly do, and I think Violet is going to find out. Violet, he groans, his hands capturing mine, pinning them above my head. No, not his hands. Shadows. Shadows. My breath hitches. He holds me as a more than willing captive while he kisses me over and over. I am at chapter 19, and that means 31% in. So I've been reading for a while now, but I'm gonna keep going and come back here and scream about what I'm finding out. Rebecca really wanted me to absolutely love Violet in this book. I am in love with her. She is becoming such a badass. Listen to this. She is talking to Markham, which I believe was the scribe who is also teaching at Basgiath, and her initial professor when she wanted to become a scribe. You don't speak, I snap, meeting his gaze for the first time in months. Not to me. As far as I'm concerned, you have the credibility of a drunkard and the integrity of a rat. You go, Violet. You dare complain about missing 6 years of information on Aimeetea? When you've hidden centuries of our continent's history from public knowledge? Markham says, you cannot speak to a superior officer, let alone the commander of a quadrant, with such disrespect. In case you missed it when I crossed the parapet, I am not in your chain of command. Atos says, but you are in mine, and I speak with the authority of Melgren. She gets furious, right? And I speak with the authority of Tern, Andarna, and the Empyrean. And Xaden says, if I wasn't in love with you already, I would be now, through their mind bond. I'm moving back to the sofa because it's closer to the window, and I am sweating profusely. I don't know what's going on. This is not winter. Okay, so another hilarious scene with Andarna. So she's talking to Tern. You're such a centenarian. Perhaps my kind will not be such killjoys. Perhaps they will feast as they see fit. Perhaps they will... Oh, what is that? So she got distracted. I love her. And Tern says, a mammoth red-horned tortoise. And absolutely not. The shell will embed between your teeth, and I will not carry you in a festering tortoise shell. Tortoise? Whatever. Get back here. I just love them so much. Them going back and forth, and Andarna making fun of him. I just like it so much. Again, Andarna always wants to hunt for something, and right now she's looking at the ocean, wanting to eat something. And Tern says, do not go any deeper than your claws. I swear, if you get in over your head, I'll let you drown. That's so cute. Oh my god. Speak for yourself, Xaden says. Aimeetea is the second most beautiful thing I've ever seen. He hands me his reins, turning those gorgeous gold-flecked onyx eyes into weapons capable of melting...
the underwear straight off my body as he looks at me. And my home is the first. Yeah, I flat out liquefy. I did too, girl. I get you. We have officially started chapter 25. And I'm gonna read you the first sentence. I abandoned my towel and my common sense, throwing my arms around his neck and pouring my whole heart into the kiss. He's groaning. He's groaning. He's growling. Yes, okay. He's smirking as well. Me holding back from you was purely for your sake, not mine. Trust me, I want you from the second I wake until the moment I fall asleep. I dream about you. Now I have 6 weeks to make up for. And love, I'm melting. We're wasting time. A lot of things happening here. You have to let go for me, love. So they were interrupted. Well, they were at the end of it, but at the beginning of the next whatever, someone knocks at the door. Xaden answers the door. He wraps a towel around himself and opens the door. And he says, "To what do we owe the honor of a visit from every single one of you?" Because there are more waiting at the door. Silence answers, "Yes, the table is broken. Now what do you need?" And Redux says, "You two totally broke it, didn't you? Like the armoire no one was supposed to notice getting hauled out of her room during first year." And Mira says, "The what? Chapter 25? You have my approval, you have my love, you have my attention. Thank you, Rebecca." As you probably know, English is not my first language, and even though I read fluently in English in my head, names don't really register as English for me. Like Ter is actually Tairin or Tarin in my head, and Andarna is Andarna. But when it comes to Terran's full name, I'm confused in every language I know. I'm 42% in already. I don't know what's going on, why I'm able to read continuously for so long. Hours have passed. Did I go to the bathroom? I can't remember. Let me quickly lay it out for you so you get the idea. As I was saying, Violet is trying to save everyone from venom and help Xaden cure him from being a venom. And to do that, she needs to go on a quest, let's say, or a journey, which, let me tell you, I love so much in books. She is now going to need to talk to a certain ruler who's very peculiar. Let's say, to enter the palace, they need to say who they are. Xaden says his name, and then she's asked, "And you are?" And Xaden says, "My consort, Violet Sorengale." He can't just announce things like that without at least a discussion. And Terrence says, "Are congratulations or commiserations in order?" Consort? We aren't married. He smirks and says, "I've noticed, but girlfriend is missing the permanent tone. Never thought you'd reject me." I just like their banter so much. Oh my god. The ruler told Cortland, "To whom do you owe your loyalty? Your father was a rebel. From what I hear, you are cut from the same cloth. So to whom do you swear you're fealty? Avare?" Cortland continues, "Or Tyrandor? Lie, and this discussion is over. Violet." My heart skips into double time. Mine did as well. My loyalty is to Violet first above everything, everyone else. Then Tyrandor, then Navarre, in the moment it's worthy. Usually when Violet is in residence. Violet gets hurt, someone hurts her. "Xaden," I whisper. "It's nothing, really. I've had worse on a sparring mat. They're all dead." The unmistakable sound of cracking bone follows, and every guard surrounding us drops to the floor, their heads twisted at unnatural angles. "They hurt you," he whispered without apology. "They were going to kill you." I am literally dying here. I'm lost for words at how much I like Xaden.
Oh my god.
Andarna wants to eat something she's not allowed. Again, I would like to try an Umbrish horse. "No," Tern and I answered simultaneously. One day, I'm going to stop asking nicely. I am waiting for any remark that Andarna has for Tern and Tern for Andarna. I am leaving for that. And I would love to hear Sigale as well, because I really like that she's so grumpy all the time. I'm 50% in right now, and some details are still hazy, but things start to make sense. Maybe I would say it is slightly filler with this book, but I'm not upset about it. I like it. I don't feel like it is slow or that the pace bothers me. Maybe it is slower than, let's say, Fourth Wing somehow. What I don't like is that I know, because this is not a trilogy anymore as I read that it should have been, being a 5-book series means that we are going to have to wait to know what's going to happen. And usually with long series, you feel like the story has been stretched out. I don't know if it's going to bother me, but at this point I'm happy there are more books and sad that I can't have them all. I have no idea for how long I've been reading. It isn't sunny outside anymore. I want to continue reading it, but I am fidgety a little bit, feeling like I am fusing with the couch at this point. I'm gonna take a really short break, maybe go out, get some air for 10-15 minutes, come back and devour the last half of this book. I am back with a new outfit and I've already read for a bit. I can't really tell you what happened. I want you to discover it on your own. All I can say about it is that Xaden is so affected by this thing. We've never seen him being affected by something that is not Violet related. As we know, Venin don't really have emotions and feelings, and Xaden is fighting the urge to block his emotion. This particular situation really messes him up. Violet tries to make him feel better. And because he's feeling so down and just so devastated, he says that this feeling is one I would gladly exchange for not feeling anything. And that kind of makes Violet get a bit unsettled and she wants to take his pain away. Don't barter it away, I beg as he stares at the sea, and the words spill out of me faster and faster as his eyes harden and he resurrects the defenses it took me a year to break past. The pain, the mess, give it to me. I'll hold it. I know that sounds ludicrous. I don't know what that word means. But I'll find a way. I lace our fingers. I will hold everything you don't want to feel because I love every part of you. And then he says, you already hold my soul. And now you want my pain? Getting greedy, Violence. They encounter a life or death situation. And we have certain plot twists and things that we do not expect to happen. And Violet is in the middle of it and she is really showing us how much her brain can do. And she is just planning everything out so that in the end, we, Violet and her squad, we are winning. And I just love that. You don't understand what's going on and then everything starts to make sense and you realize, oh my god, Violet is a genius. That's not the only thing that happened. We also get a bit of Xaden's special. Someone asks Xaden to marry Kat for the benefit of the realm. He accepts, okay? Yes, I know how that sounds. He accepts to marry Kat for a certain period of time, just so they can have an heir. Bear with me, okay? What an excellent decision. Shall we go with 3 or 4 years for the marriage? Lifetime. Anything less is unacceptable. Need I tell you how I gasped here? But then comes the best part. Xaden slides his hand to the back of my neck, and her full name for the papers is Violet Sorringale with 2 R's. My heart skipped a bit. Xaden got furious about this whole situation. If you think I'm going to leave the only woman I've ever loved to contract marriage with a woman I do not get along with, then the lack of wisdom is yours, not mine. You cannot contemplate the things I have sacrificed for Tyrandor. I lost my father, my freedom, my very soul. That's what he wanted to say. But Violet is the only choice I've made for myself. I won't sacrifice her for 3 years. Not for a single day. That, my girlies, is a man, and that is love. That is love. I am at chapter 36 at this point. I'm not gonna give you any context. Give me that. To my surprise, Mira takes the kitten, not the map, cradling it against her chest with one hand. Her name is Broccoli. Not that, he muttered. She looks at him like his sprouted whiskers. You named a kitten Broccoli? That was so cute. Another sweet moment. Redok is telling us about his prank game with his dragon. His dragon drenched him in water. He's getting me back because I won the last round. He flashes a grin. I bought enough itching powder to fill a bucket, then dropped it between his scales on the back of his neck right after flight maneuvers a few weeks ago. He had to submerge his entire body in the river to avoid everyone in the Vale knowing I'd gotten the best of him. It was just so heartwarming. This is quite a big spoiler, even though if I tell you, you won't truly understand why this character is here with us, but it is a big spoiler. If you want, you can skip it. I wouldn't skip it. I like spoilers. If you want to be safe and not know anything that might make you understand prematurely when you're reading what's going to happen, then don't. But I'm starting now. Andarna is going to find her family in this book. She encounters a few dragons like her. She's telling them her life story. My heart is broken into pieces. She wanted so much to know them and be accepted by them. And she wasn't. They rejected her. She's absolutely devastated by it. The seventh breed of dragons is a peaceful one. So they're not like the dragons we know. They want peace. They want nothing to do with war and fighting with their power. They are judging Andarna for using her powers for war. She says something that just gave me goosebumps. This dragon says, "You are magic, and yet all you seek to use it for is violence." Andarna then says, "You preach peace while only having known its privilege." Even now I have goosebumps. "You are all a disappointment to me." The other dragon says, "In that we find common ground." That she is also a disappointment. And then Andarna says, "I wish I'd never met you." It was really an intense moment in the book. I'm very sad about it. Xaden becomes hopeless about him being able to get cured from being a venom. Violet says, "Please stay with me. Fight for the future that's beyond all this. I told you, control is just prolonging the inevitable. Maybe stability is a fool's hope. You can't give up. You have to fight. If you won't do it for yourself, then you do it for me. What happens to me if you turn? What happens to Turn and Sigil if you give in? Do Venin get once a week visits? Does their bond survive you turning? Does ours? You and I are tethered for life, Xaden Ryerson. Am I expected to turn with you? Is that the only way to keep our dragons alive if you give up?" 1,000 emotions flit across his face. And then they're gone. My stomach flips. The man I love stays. He fights. And then Xaden says this, and it just broke my heart. The man you love no longer fully belongs to himself. I'm a bit confused with my feelings. And I'm now at chapter 47, and that is 74% in. My heart needs a break, but I won't give it to it. I get why Xaden is acting the way he is, and he's fighting with himself and still wants to be with Violet. He sort of accepts his fate, let's say, that he's going to be a venom, but still tries to enjoy every moment of every day he has with Violet. Violet doesn't really accept this. She wants him to believe that he's going to get cured. I'm here with Violet. I want the same thing for him, but I also understand why he doesn't believe it, because he keeps falling into, let's say, his venom side, but never forgets his love for Violet. And their connection is just so strong, and I love, and I and probably everyone likes when main love interests are so tightly bonded to each other. Hopefully the ending of this book is not going to absolutely destroy me, but I have the feeling it's going to get me into the worst reading slump of my life. Another spicy scene incoming, I think. After the thunderstorm that happened within my heart, I needed something, okay? Rebecca gave it to me. They have this heartfelt moment. He is trying to be in control when it comes to her, so he doesn't hurt her because he's venom now. He can drain her, but he can't stay away from her. Then we have, oh my god, I think I need to like
blip a few things. My control when it comes to you is an illusion. You are the temple where I worship. I live for the clench of your thighs, your breathy little cries, the feel of you. I can't put that in. And above all else, the sound of my favorite 3 words from this mouth. Keeping my hands off you has been the feat of my life, and you have the power to shred my discipline with a single touch. And then we have the shadows again. The shadows flow over my palms and through my fingers in a continuous caress that steals my breath. On the very last page of this spicy chapter, I choose you. I choose whatever risk this brings. I see every part of you, Xaden. The good, the bad, the unforgivable. That's what you promised, and that's what I want. All of you. I can handle myself, even against you if I have to. God, did I think that 48 was the spicy chapter? It was not. 49 is the spicy chapter.
There is so much passion between these two. I've got you. My power, my body, my soul. It's all yours. Take whatever you need. This might sound a tad bit cringe in some situations. Usually, most of the sex scenes or the spicy scenes in books are cringe somehow. For anyone listening to it from outside of physically reading the book, I just like it that they are so passionate about each other, and romantasy and fantasy just brings that feeling that you are on the edge of the knife or the edge of the cliff and it's all or nothing. That's what I love in romantasy, that you have that edge to it. You have those really high stakes. The feelings are very powerful, which other books don't really have. This book really made me transport myself there and feel like I'm surrounded by magic and I'm part of it. I'm going to be depressed after this book, that's for sure. I know Violet's signet. Probably most of you know it already. I'm not going to say it here because it's not that outstanding. I think it is regarded as being a very, very powerful signet. I don't feel like it is a very powerful signet. It might be if used in certain ways, but for me, it wasn't that outrageous. Find out about her signet at 78% into the book, so very, very late. I don't like this. Okay. This is a very big spoiler, so this is the first real spoiler, to be honest with you. I'm starting now. Skip if you don't want a big spoiler, okay? Big one. One of the dragons she encounters with the family situation with Andarna comes back and helps them out. But he asks Andarna to unbond Violet so she can go back with him to their den and learn their ways. He says to Andarna, humans should only be capable of bonding a single dragon, and yet you forged a second connection when there shouldn't be one. Your instincts are excellent, but you need instruction. Break the connection and come with me. My heart thunders like hoofbeats in my ear. I blench as it hits me. She wants to go. Of course she does. He's her family, the only dragon of her kind willing to accept her. I'm the one holding her back. Her other bond will sustain her life. Should you choose to return, you can always reforge the bond. Violet says, I want you to be happy and safe and thriving. I want you to leave, even if it's not with me. Andarna breaks the bond. She felt like she was going to die. She could have died, but decided and fought to leave because she exists for Terran and she lives for Xaden. It was kind of heartbreaking again. Still into spoiler territory, Andarna is gone. Terran leaves our bond wide open, giving me unfettered access to him in a way I've never had. He's always been with me, but now I'm with him too. I hear his side of the conversation when he tells the elders about Andarna's departure. I hear him bickering with Sigil over what he calls her excessive hovering, and I'm privy to the lecture he gives Xaden about making sure I eat. I'm 88% at this point, and we are encountering the very final fight, war, between them and Venom. I didn't tell you everything that happened, but right now, the Venom have something that Violet cares for a lot. Brennan is talking to her and Xaden about what they should be doing, and he says, that's why we'll fail, because you will choose everyone over yourself, and he will choose you over everyone. And if Cadet Soaringale Violet is abducted while securing her objective, Shadow spread at Xaden's feet, and he says, Body will make an excellent duke. So he will die protecting her. Someone just died, I think so. A very important person, I can tell you. I just read 2 chapters, one from Rhiannon's point of view and one from Imogen's point of view, and I'm not a fan. The one from Rhiannon's point of view was very relevant in the sense that it made me really understand how hard it is to coordinate a squad and how she really needs to make some very important choices in a matter of seconds. But between those 2 chapters, we had one from Violet as well. She is in great danger. Taryn is not with her. Venom is around her. It's really bad. But we have the very first thing Sigil says. Sigil saved her, basically. And she says, you are an inconvenience for which there is no adequate measurement. But you have done an excellent job of keeping the Maven occupied. I am 97% in, so I'll keep reading. I'll film it. I'll film my reactions.
You have been the gift of my life, I tell Taryn. It is not over, he shouts. Thank God she didn't die. We are still okay.
This is me after reading the book, and I'm telling you that what's going to come is a big spoiler. So you don't want to know how the book ends? Don't watch it. Just jump at this timestamp here and you're good.
Okay, so I think Xaden channeled a lot. Violet realized it and she says, he's terrifyingly powerful with Sigil, but not like this. This is the kind of force that ends worlds, and it's almost here. I love you, I whisper down the bond, and the ice cracks. But it's not enough to hold the approaching wave of darkness. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, we have Xaden's point of view. Oh, they want to kill Sigil. And Xaden refers to some other Venoms as his brothers, and it's just breaking my heart. Okay, so, and we have his point of view from when Violet says she loves him, and I love you. Violet's voice cracks the cold, and a silken thread of warmth wedges itself in the opening before it seals shut, locking it in place. No, wait. I grab for the thread with desperate hands, clawing to keep her as more of my pieces are blown away, lost to the void. She's warmth and light and air and love. Okay, and this is going to break my heart. He's now a Venom, properly, for sure. He says to Sigil, will you forsake me now? Sigil says, what is there left of you to forsake? He kind of has a plan with Sigil and Taryn regarding Violet. Rebecca really destroyed us, and she's taking a break as well. We need to wait years for the next book. I don't know how I can do that. I'm gonna tell you the ending, okay? Biggest spoiler ever. So just don't watch it if you don't want to know the ending, even though the very ending isn't going to tell you what happened, because I don't even know what happened, and we're gonna find out in the next book. So basically, Xaden married her. We don't know how, we don't know why. We just know that he's gone now. He married her, and she asked Imogen to wipe her memories away. And we don't know what happened. She doesn't know what happened. It's the worst option ever. Apart from Xaden dying or whatever, what can be worse than this?
I took a little break to gather my thoughts, and At this point, I'm so invested in this book that I am part of the universe and nothing can really make it under 5 stars. Even if there are things I didn't like not knowing about the characters in the first, I don't know, 10 chapters. I was kind of confused with who's Lulin, who's Traeger, who's whatever. There were a lot of names that I didn't recognize and knew nothing about, even though I finished Iron Flame a week ago, so everything was fresh. I don't really like that there are 5 books on one hand because it feels like the story is a bit stretched out, but at the same time, I like it because I want more of this universe. So it's a good part and a bad part here. I don't really get the 1-star reviews with ONYX Storm. If you've read the first 2, then how can you complain about the writing style? You know already how the writing style is going to be. And yes, fantasy books and romance books usually have a certain writing style that is not appealing to everyone. Even to me, who likes the books, I don't really dig the writing style every time. And sometimes it's a bit too childish or whatever, but you are expecting that. As a whole, I like the book. I didn't like the ending, but that's any romantasy ending that is worth it. You don't really like it, but it brings you back and it keeps you wondering what's going to happen. I don't know how I'm going to get over the reading slump. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you can like it and you can subscribe for more content. Also, I am posting a lot of content on TikTok, surprisingly, and I kind of like it. And if you want more short form content, you can go there. I'll post shorts as well, and there are many more other book related videos to come. So